if previously the website that you had was successful, and that was selling, and all of a sudden the new one's not selling, then you would expect that to be something you would be worried about in the first day. We've got clients that launch a website, they tell everyone about it, and then they just continue taking orders, maybe at a higher rate, and that's what ideally should happen. But if something, worry straight away if you've had a website. If you've got a new one, then people have got to find out about it. They've got to understand who you are and where you are and find you.
If you are a relatively small independent retailer and you've just set up your new website for
Yes.
the first time, you reckon it'd probably take a month? If you're telling people about it using your social media accounts, telling your existing customers,
it's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah, of course.
But I would certainly be worried if I hadn't had anything, within the first few days. But I guess if there are people in the audience that have set up a website, they're not having any activity, nothing, and a month's gone by, then something has to change. Something has to be done.
Okay.
And that's when you would start going back to looking at Google Analytics, hoping you've got that set up to be able to say, right, we've got the visitors coming. Well, why aren't they doing the next bit?
Can you talk me through what success would look like? So if you've got your analytics in place, or you're going back and doing it now retrospectively, and you're looking at how many people are coming to the website, what kind of proportion of those perhaps are getting onto a couple of pages, what proportion are abandoning a cart, and then who's actually making a purchase? Can you just talk me through how many people you'd expect to be losing through that process?
You can set up within Google Analytics a process called funneling. And the funneling process allows you to see graphically, as well as in numbers, who's coming at the top, who added something to basket, who went to checkout. You can see I'm narrowing my hands here because this is actually what happens. Drops into a basket. Someone may leave at that point because the shipping costs are too high, or they may just be window shopping and may not want to go any further. There's a number of reasons I can go into that, and then they'll drop into a final stage. The final stage being the confirmation of order. You will normally see a greater number at the top and a smaller number at the bottom. That's exactly what it's called a funnel. And abandonment, shopping cart abandonment, as it's known, is not something to be afraid of. It happens. If you imagine wandering into a shop, any shop on the high street, having a browse around and then walking back out, you've carried a basket, an invisible basket with you, walked around and thought, no, I'm not going to buy anything today, and you've walked out. So abandonment does happen, and it's real. There are things to do to try and reduce the severity of the funnel. So if you want to try and make the funnel a little bit shallower, a little bit
deeper.
Then you can start looking at tweaks and adjustments within the website. It could be, if you find that there's mass abandonment at the basket page because that's where your delivery charges are specified, then do something about your delivery charges.
We've assumed we've done all these things, and we've got a website that is, materially ready to go.
Yes.
What should we be doing to push that website to our customers? So we've got our high street retailer. Consumers would be normally coming into the store potentially, or a brand new online retailer.
Yeah.
You haven't got footfall on the internet, so how are you pushing out the website?
You've got to think about changing the window display. The first page that they might hit is the home page, but alternatively, the first page they might hit is a product page. They might land straight on a product, straight from a search result. And then there's a case for they're wondering why, if the product isn't selling, has it got a description? Do the images do the product justice? Are the options correctly set up? Can you actually buy it? We have had clients that they've had their own clients complaining that they can't actually purchase a product because an error message came up, or because it's just not, there's no buy button. It's because they forgot to put the price in, or they forgot to add an important element in that enabled that to appear.
Presumably the way to avoid that is just to make sure that you go through your website on a regular basis and try and purchase every product.
Absolutely right. So there's a check process. It's, don't just assume everything's there and working, and certainly don't blame it on the web people, because if you've got your own access, you've got your own content management system, the responsibility is yours to make sure you've kept it up to date. But don't be afraid to test your own website regularly. And if you spot something and you think it could be improved, talk to your web people, because they can then help you make those improvements.
Can we just touch on sort of the shop window, as it were, other ways to make people aware of your website. So we talked about social media being one of the ways to do that. Are there any sort of other tricks that your existing clients are using to take new people onto their website?
Online, your methods of interacting with people fall to contacting your existing clients by email, contacting people who follow you. Obviously, all of your social media needs to be told. All of your followers need to be told, and they need to be told in a dynamic way. If you've got something exciting coming, you've got a new product range coming, take photographs of it and make sure they're out there and post something interesting to go alongside it. But email marketing is a vital part. Just talking to one of my clients through the other side, they've managed to, within 3 months, pay for their website completely. And this isn't a plug for my business, by the way. They pay for the website within 3 months. And they've done that because since the launch, they've been constantly emailing their old customers, and even customers going back 3 or 4 years they haven't spoken to in 3 or 4 years. It's reminded them to come and see them, reminded them to come to the website, and it's helped them to sell more.